For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Did you know that NPCI's first chairman was Narayana Murthy of Infosys? Did you know that UPI is undertaking 1,500 transactions per second? Did you know that 2 out of these 3 of these transactions are for sums less than rupees 500? It's very unlikely that you have not heard of UPI or used UPI for your daily transactions. Last month, UPI recorded nearly 9 billion transactions. That's a staggering number. It comes to about 1,500 transactions per second. Even better, 2 out of the 3 transactions are for sums less than rupees 500. The financial inclusion story aside, NPCI, the National Payments Corporation of India, which powers UPI, is spreading its wings globally. Recently, it inked a contract with the Singapore Monetary Authority to enable frictionless digital remittances between the two countries. The story about NPCI is beginning to go bigger, better and broader. To understand why and more, we spoke to Praveena Rai, the Chief Operating Officer of NPCI. I began by asking Praveena to set out the broad contours of the recent agreement inked with the Singapore Monetary Authority and the implications.
So as NPCI, given the success of UPI in India, the objective was really to see how do we really strategically take this story beyond the shores of the country. And we work on this on 3 streams. So the first stream is to say, what could we do to solve certain problems that exist in requirements as they stand. And the first part of that is really around remittances. Right? India is one of the top remittance corridors. And we look at corridors that are very important to both inward as well as outward remittance, and what role UPI can play there. The second is on really creating an acceptance for UPI for people from India traveling overseas. So wherever, important tourist locations, people traveling for holiday or traveling for work, are they able to use UPI, which they are so used to today? You'll find people in India saying, I don't carry my wallet anymore. So can they continue to have that experience no matter where they travel to? And the third stream is to say, we have something really good by way of UPI in terms of the protocol, the operating model, the tech stack. Is this something that we can do a lift and shift and really benefit other markets in terms of offering this as a platform? So these are the 3 streams, and the interaction with the MAS is really between 2 regulators. So RBI and MAS, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, signed this up as a means of cooperation between the 2 countries. And, we've got the rails running, so which means that we've linked up the 2 countries, both from an acceptance and remittance standpoint. And, now we are looking to scale this up and take entities in market live. So from process of when an agreement is made to market participants on the India side, market participants in the other country going live, and then ultimately, for us to see the transactions and then actually look at customer experience at scale, that takes a little bit of time. So we are in that process as we speak, but it's very exciting.
The key to NPCI disrupting payments in India has been interoperability and its ability to enable frictionless transactions. This, in turn, is an outcome of the India Stack, which is nothing but a bunch of digital building blocks that can be pieced together by anyone to build any innovation. Now, this is going global.
I think that's the opportunity. And I said, our focus is really to look at problems to solve. And the problem here is that an international payment transaction has a fair degree of friction. So today, when you want to, make a payment to a friend or family member overseas, even if it complies with what is permitted from a regulatory standpoint, it still takes a few days. It's still, is fairly expensive, and there is not so much transparency and visibility on what charges that ultimately both the sender, remitter, and the beneficiary will need to bear. And that's really the opportunity for us to solve. So if we can really take that domestic experience of an end-to-end UPI transaction that happens in 15 seconds and, create that experience across international rails, we've really got a game changer on our hands. And that's really where we are heading now.
It is one thing to enable frictionless payments within India, but an entirely another thing to enable it across countries and across borders.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how the international retail transaction piece steps up. Pre-UPI days, probably we did not see this number and value of a digital payment. And when I say value, I also mean transaction value. Today, you're pretty comfortable going and buying a cup of tea and you pay with UPI, right? So today, when you think of a cross-border remittance, you still probably want to pay a chunky, sum of money because your fixed cost, itself is an overhead and it's a burden that somebody is trying to deal with. But if that becomes seamless, costs are more efficient, it's more instantaneous, we may see actually the value of every transaction, reduced dramatically. And one could think of it like the mental friction, right? Basically, between when you think of it and you act on it and the money is actually transferred, there would be no delay involved. So I think we'll have to really wait and see. Once the rails are built, the users are on board, then all of this will play out.
There is no one playbook for NPCI to expand its global wings. For example, it has an individual deal contract with Mashreq Bank in the UAE and similar deals with banks in Japan and China.
So I think it depends on the situation. The countries that need to be brought into the plan are clear, and each country might have a different kind of landscape. Each country will have a different kind of opportunity. Each country will have its own legal and regulatory structure, which we will have to respect and work with, and different kind of participants. So what we really need is to work with significant participants who can give us quick scale in that market. And that's really what we will need to go by. In all occasions, I think the partnership between the regulators, the partnership between the countries is the foundation of the framework. And the execution methodology could be different in different cases.
I was curious to know whether the real remittances had actually begun.
Yes, we do have flows. We do have flows that we are seeing. I don't have the exact numbers with me. They are not significant yet. They are not a significant part of the share of real transactions coming in. As I said, there is more work on the enablement side that is still in play. But the early numbers and the proof of the pudding to see that yes, it works end to end.
What about South Asia?
Well, yes, for sure. I think while we may think the world is our stage, our significant focus, will certainly be in home ground and in the neighborhood. So including markets like Bhutan, Nepal, of course, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So they're all markets where there is either something already in play or conversations are in progress.
UPI's success has been so impressive that we often ignore NPCI's other achievements. For example, Bharat Bill payments.
And initially, there were specific categories that came into the permitted categories of BBPS, which tended to be more around utilities and telecom bills and so on and so forth. RBI has permitted opening up the bill payment category that can be offered on the BBPS platform to all categories of merchants. So that happened, a few months back. And that has really opened up a lot of avenue of innovation and opportunity. which the NPCI BBPS team is working on. The other very exciting thing, which actually the RBI governor launched in September last year as part of the Global FinTech Festival, was BBPS, being ready for international linkage. So BBPS, hence, let me rephrase it. So if there is somebody living overseas with a family or, aged parent or somebody in India, they will be able to access the bills and make a payment, fairly seamlessly. So we are quite excited about that as well. So these are small need gaps, that have been there. And as India really gets known for the digital payment penetration and, everybody using digital payments. So I think really the larger Indian community, the Indian diaspora, the NRI community overseas wants to have the benefit of that. And this is a very classic example. Recently, we've also launched two other elements for this community, which is around NRIs being able to enable themselves on UPI from an overseas location. So thus far, UPI needed an Indian mobile number and to be present in the country for registering on UPI. So the security of UPI, etc., works and accepts a player only based on these limited parameters. So we've opened that up as a pilot to kind of top 10 markets. And again, market enablement is in process as we speak. So that will permit a lot of NRI to onboard and register on UPI and use UPI wherever they are.
Similarly, most of you are aware that the game-changing direct benefits transfer has been enabled using the NPCI backbone. And you're also aware that it has saved nearly 3 lakh crore rupees to the national exchequer by eliminating leakages and middlemen from the transaction.
So certainly we have seen a lot of benefit from that. The Aadhaar-enabled payment system is the key mechanism that people who are beneficiaries of DBT access their money. This was really a massive benefit during the pandemic time, for sure. I think it was really a lifesaver of sorts, and it has been widely appreciated, the actions of the government, as well as the fact that people were able to access their funds. Now, what makes us very happy is not just the fact that the money reaches the account, right? So you can link your Aadhaar to a bank account. Central or state governments use the Aadhaar to make a payment. So it reaches the account to which the bank account has been linked. And then Aadhaar-enabled payment system is really the channel through which people go out, reach out to their bank mitra, business correspondent, or a bank branch, and they're able to use their biometric to withdraw their cash. The interesting part here is, of course, that now cash is available and they have received the benefit directly into their account. But interesting is the percentage of people who are not cashing out completely is also increasing. So the good news is that if this money should help them for a certain period of time, they are not cashing out and just then keeping the cash for them and utilizing it as they need it. They're confident and secure that they have access to the cash when they need it, and hence it's not a full cash out, and we are seeing more instances of some cash being left behind in the bank balance, and then people accessing it when they need it. So that's really good, because ultimately this is a big part of financial inclusion, and financial inclusion is truly achieved when people have a active bank account. So not just an account from which you withdraw everything, but is actually used like everybody else uses a bank account, which can then lead into other uses of that money, right? Money for a rainy day. How do I save? How do I use it to access credit? How do I build up a score? All that kind of good stuff. So I think there are many intangible benefits that are arising out of this.
What Pravina just shared with us is hugely significant. According to her, people are retaining cash in their Jan Dhan bank accounts. This means their trust in the system is going up. Remember, traditionally, India has been a very no-trust economy. So this is a very big mindset reset that we are witnessing. As internet connectivity grows, NPCI's involvement in our lives will only increase. For example, NPCI has already enabled payments through cars using your infotainment panel. All you need is a car connected to the internet. Clearly, NPCI's story and India's story, the best is yet to come. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Strat News Global on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates. And please do share your thoughts and insights with us. I'm available on Twitter at Capital Calculus. I'll be back next week, presumably with a better voice and a better throat. Till then, stay safe.